You ever have that feeling, you're lying in bed before your alarm goes off, just thinking about work? You've got a good job, a decent salary, security, but there's this little voice in the back of your head you just can't shake. Well, today we're going to talk about exactly that. We're breaking down the salary trap, this invisible system that's pretty much designed to keep you on the hamster wheel forever, no matter how much you're earning.
Does this hit home? You're making more money than you ever have in your life, but somehow you feel more broke than ever. If you're nodding your head right now, I want you to know you're not alone. And that feeling? Yeah, that's not an accident. It's by design.
So to really get our heads around how this trap works, let's look at an example. Let's meet Sarah. She's 34. She makes $85,000 a year, which puts her in the top 20% of earners. So on paper, Sarah should feel rich, right? But she feels constantly, perpetually broke.
Okay, so every 2 weeks, this is the number that shows up on her pay stub. $3,260. It looks good, right? A nice, solid number. But what she actually gets to take home, well, that's a very different story.
Because after taxes are automatically yanked out, this is her reality. $2,458. That's her real starting point for the next 2 weeks. And from this number, the trap really starts to spring shut.
And here's where the system is so clever. Her money gets carved up before she even has a chance to really think about it. Boom, half of it just vanishes into rent. Another huge chunk gets eaten by her car payment and gas. Then, groceries, utilities, those subscriptions we all have. It's all sliced away before she can make a single intentional choice.
And after all those non-negotiable expenses are paid, this is what Sarah has left for 2 weeks. $48. But here's the absolute genius of the trap. She doesn't feel poor. Why? Because she has a nice apartment, she drives a decent car. The system gives her all the symbols of success.
And this is the trap's #1 weapon, the illusion of prosperity. Your brain doesn't sound the alarm bells because the money comes in as one big, exciting number, but it leaves in a dozen small, seemingly insignificant cuts. The system gives you a lifestyle, but what it withholds is actual real wealth.
But that illusion, that's just the bait. Now we're going to look at the second part of the trap, the invisible chains that don't just lure you in, but are designed to keep you locked inside for good.
And this cycle right here, this is what keeps you running in place. You get a raise, and it feels amazing, right? It feels like freedom. So what do? You upgrade. You get that nicer car, the bigger apartment. But each upgrade doesn't actually buy you more freedom. It does the opposite. It tightens the chains by jacking up your monthly bills, making you even more dependent on that next paycheck.
This right here is the core mechanic of the entire trap. It has nothing to do with how much money you make. It's all about the gap, the space between your income and your expenses. The whole system is designed to keep that gap as small as humanly possible, because a tiny gap guarantees you'll be desperate for that next paycheck.
I want you to really think about this for a second. And be honest with yourself. If the paycheck stopped coming tomorrow, how long could you really last? 1 month? 3? Because whatever your answer is, that number reveals the exact length of your chain.
And if that question made you a little uneasy, you're in the majority. Over 60% of professionals, we're talking high earners too, couldn't keep up their current lifestyle for more than 1 single month without their job. You are, effectively, 1 month away from a financial crisis at all times.
The trap is just so effective because it feels completely normal. This cycle of working, earning, and spending, it feels like security, but it's not. It's a prison. It just happens to be a very comfortable one. And because it's a system, not a law of physics, it is a system you can choose to leave. The second you stop seeing this trap as just the way things are, and you start seeing it for what it is, a system, that is the moment everything starts to change. Because once you see the bars of the cage, you can't unsee them, and you can start planning your escape.
This slide right here is the single most important mindset shift you have to make. Stop confusing your income with your wealth. They are not the same thing. Income is what you earn. It's temporary. It's what keeps you on the treadmill. Wealth is what you keep. It's permanent, and it is the only thing that will ever make you free.
Okay, so we see the trap, we get it. How do we actually break these chains? Well, the way out isn't some complicated secret. It's a pretty simple 3-part blueprint to take back control of your life. First, you have to fight that lifestyle inflation. You have to intentionally create that gap between what you earn and what you spend. Second, you redirect every single dollar from that gap into assets, things that grow for you over time. And third, you build your get-out-of-jail fund, your safety net. The whole goal is simple: to make your paycheck optional, not a requirement for survival.
Once you have that cushion, say 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved up, something powerful shifts inside you. It's psychological. You are no longer trapped. You can suddenly negotiate for a raise with real confidence. You can take a smart risk. You can just walk away from a job that's crushing your soul. See, freedom isn't about never working again. It's about having the option not to.
Look, the salary trap is very real, and it is sophisticated, but it is not inescapable. The people who break free aren't any smarter or luckier than you. They just saw the system for what it was, and they made a choice. They decided that comfort just wasn't enough. They wanted freedom. And you have that exact same choice.